Hey guys, welcome to the Fiberific live craft and chat. Everything looks a little different, I'm aware. I'm trying a new thing. We'll see how it goes. As usual, let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, all that sort of stuff. Just making sure the audio is working. Oops. We'll see how it goes. As usual. Oops. Hang on a second. Well, there you go. I know it works now. I accidentally had it playing on my phone. So, welcome. That was embarrassing. Oh, I thought I turned the sound off. Hey, how's it going, Scott? I really enjoyed your live stream this morning. It was my excuse to not do mum things. So yeah, that was fun. So don't forget to click like, share this out to everybody that you think would be interested in scoring information and morning laughs. Also the occasional prize of goodies I've got. I'm just going to just switch over. Whoops, I just killed the wrong thing. Just switch to this. So I've got this beautiful whirlpool yarn. I don't even have this on my website. This is a beautiful merino, like extra fine merino and silk blend at 600 meters of squishy goodness. We've got the Nova that we didn't give away last week, the 50% yak, 50% tussar silk. This is totally spindle food. And then we've got a little pack of a Afghan hook or a Tunisian hook, some stitch markers, and a notions case. So these are all going out to lucky people today. Is it lace weight? 600 meters for 100 grams is technically considered a lace weight, I believe. So yes. Hey Tanya, hey Chintamani, hey everybody, Tyra. It's good to see you all here. Don't forget to smash the like button. I can't tell if you've done it until I log off, and then I sit there and go, yay, everyone smash the like button. So that's brilliant. So I'm changed some things. As those of you that were here last week, it was a complete schmozzle of what was happening with my feed. I'm hoping a few of the updates I've run this week have fixed that, but I've also taken the camera that was failing out of action. So I've only got the one camera today. I'm not using the laptop camera, which was what was causing the error apparently. We'll see if that is actually the problem. We'll find out. Nerdy says, cool, I love the lace weight you gave me. It's so soft. I actually think this is a different lace weight. I've got a couple of lines of lace weight because I'm a lace weight junkie, hence a Mystery Lace Club. I'm going to get the plugs in today. So guys, I'm not sure if you are aware, but the Mystery Lace Club is now open for its first batch of submissions. For those in Australia, it's $50 a month, and you will get a pattern designed by a prominent designer or some of them are prominent, some of them you may not have heard of, but are still actually quite big, but none of them are free patterns. So don't feel like I'm just tossing in free patterns each month. They're all patterns that you would normally have to pay for, and then everything that you need to make that thing. This is not one of those sample clubs where you get given a bit of yarn and then you have to go and buy the rest so that you can make the thing. The goal is that in this box, those boxes there, you get everything you need delivered to your door. All you need is your knitting needles and go. If you've got a set of ChiaoGoo interchangeable needles, you've got everything you need to make your projects. So everything else will be in the box. So it's going to be a bit of fun. Kim is asking if it's the 20th yet, because Kim was officially the first person to sign up and has been asking me if it's the 20th of March yet for the last couple of days, every day. Kim's asking, yay, will we get skills too? Yes, if there is a stitch that looks a little out of the ordinary, I will do a video on the stitch. It'll go up both here and over on the Facebook group for Fiberific Fun Zone. I forgot the name of it. There you go. Fiberific Fun Zone group. So if you are part of the Mystery Lace Club, then you should also join the Fiberific Fun Zone just to make sure you're not missing out on anything cool. I won't be doing step-by-step tutorials because of copyright, and I respect other people's copyright a lot. I don't like it when I see people's projects or their hard efforts and work be monetized by somebody else without permission. It bothers me. It bothers me a lot. So I've always got permission from designers, and so therefore I protect them. So sorry, I went off on a copyright little tangent there. I'm really funny about it. I hear little stories of where designers are being asked to help with someone else's version of their pattern, and you're just like, oh my Lord, this is just insane. Kim is crazy, officially. Josephine Phillips says, stop tempting me. Never, ever will I stop tempting people with good quality yarn, good patterns. It's just what I do. I'm an enabler. You're in the wrong place if you don't want enabling. That's all I can say. Now, the guys in the shed are trying really, really hard to be a little bit quiet, but they got so much work on. So we may hear some reversing noises, like the beep, beep, beep noises and stuff like that. We're just going to have to put up with it. So I'm not going to be out there going, hey guys, I'm live streaming, because I'd really like them to get through some of their work. The poor dudes are backlogged. It's actually really good to see another small business really thriving. So it's cool. Andrew says, Josephine, you so need to get a set of chow goos. I think everybody needs to get chow goos. It was just insane. Kim's written, I heard about a designer being asked about how a copycat did their version of the pattern because she liked the copycat's version better. Oh, I read that same thing. It was insane. It was the height of rudeness. It's just, I don't even know what to say about that. Chicago's, my fingers aren't working well today. I'm assuming that you wanted to write something other than Chicago's. Chow-goos, maybe. Tanya says, I wish I was more of a knitter. I love knitted items. Tanya, I'm going to let you in on a secret. I was not a knitter. I was crochet only. Crochet and spinning. That's it. That's all I had for my fiber crafts. I used to knit in the throwers method. And then I saw someone at one of my spinning guilds, and she was continental knitting. And I was just like, what are you doing? Because it just seemed so much more like crocheting to me. And I just truly believe if you're a crocheter and you struggle with knitting, go and find videos. I've got one up already for continental knitters, for continental knitting for crocheters. But go and find some videos, because continental knitting opened the world of knitting to me. It made the world of difference. It just, I just couldn't believe it. Now, I crochet a lot still, but I knit a lot as well now. I tend to spin less. That's where the time came from. Sorry, spinning wheels. They're over there. That's why I looked over there. They're both just sitting on a table, languishing. Tanya says, I can continental knit but purl. But not purl. Tanya, there's a couple of different methods for continental purling. So maybe have a look through some videos and see if you like some of the others. I do the one where you tip the finger down, but I am learning the way where you just twist it around, but I keep tipping my finger. It's because it's a habit now. So there's lots and lots of different ways to continental purl. You will find one that will suit you, that you'll like. And sometimes it takes a really boring project like a sweater, which is what I started on. So it was just a lot of knitting and purling. It was just a stockinette sweater for my husband. And it was a really good project to practice on, because I knew he would never wear the sweater anywhere really sort of flash and fancy, because the colours he chose were more for the colours he likes to wear when he's lounging. So it didn't matter that it wasn't like schmick all the way through. So at the bottom, the ribbing was a bit like, because I was learning like knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl in this continental method. It was a bit strange. But yeah, it's definitely worth the effort and time to persevere into it. I'm just going to scroll up a little. I've missed some comments in my little rant here. Josephine says, I've got chow goo from Fiberific, of course. I'm glad to hear that. Kim is like knitting drapes so much more nicely. Oh, goodness me. It's 10:10, guys. That was an alarm I set for like Monday to remind me to go to an appointment. Andrew says, I'm glad Kim introduced me to continental knitting. I'm so glad. Crochet is too dense if you make something you can wear without something underneath. Yeah, and in Queensland where we are, sometimes it's just too hot to wear the multiple layers. If you want your brain bent, check out Portuguese knitting. Yeah, that stuff's insane, but it looks so cool. I'm just scrolling through these here. Yeah, Andrea, there's hundreds of different variations of knitters. Every country and sort of little sort of group of people within those countries have their own methods of doing things. I can do the stitches, but it's the process, I think, that gets me all those stitches. I'll look into something because it's a goal this year to finish a knitter project. Awesome. Where are we? Back to where we were. Yeah, so sorry about the alarm. I don't think there's any other I have to set alarms to remind me to do everything. I get sucked into what I'm doing, and then I get messages from people like, hey, I thought that you were going to be, doing this thing, and you're not here, and you're just like, oh my God, I didn't set an alarm. So for the first prize of all these crochet goodies, so stitch markers you can use for crochet, a nice 5.5 mil long Tunisian hook here, and an Oceans case. How do you guys remember to go to everything? Are you alarm people like what I am, or do you just remember, or do you have a paper diary or something like? Hey Elaine, for you to win this prize, start letting me know what it is that you do to remember how to do, like, to fit everything in your day, because we're all busy people. We don't just sit here doing nothing. Tony says alarms, lots of alarms. Oh, I have alarms to get up. I have alarms to go to appointments. I have an extra alarm on my daughter's iPad to get her up. It's insane. And then I have the alarm to go and pick her up at the end of the day because I get sucked into what I'm doing here, and it's like, oh, it's 3:05. I have to leave. It's insane. Chintamani has got lots of alarms. There's lists and calendar notifications. I write everything on calendars. I use a calendar on my phone and check it in the morning. Do you know what? That's the thing. I put everything in my calendar and they all appear on here. I've got on my little screen, I can go through the calendar and see and I still forget. I have to have an alarm. I have to have something to go, stop what you're doing. Stop now. Go and do something else. So that's just how it is. Where are we? I've got lots of alarms on my phone, reminders for the weekly and monthly. Do you know any option that I have for an appointment for them to send me a text the day before to remind me I'm in? I'm like, yep, send me that text, send me the email, send me everything to remind me to turn up. Tanya says, now the alarms are sent to my watch because I ignore the phone a lot. Yeah, I get them on both. It's dental checkup, kindergarten, registration. You can set. Yeah, I've got notifications set up in my calendars as well. Scott says that's why I have a girlfriend. She's my alarm. I'm not into the drawing. Oh, fair enough. Kid needs checkups and vaccinate. Yep, there's so many things that we just have to remember every day. It's just insane. It's just totally insane. Gamey Widow says, I love the ones that send you an SMS an hour beforehand. Yeah, I don't actually have any that do that. Although I have found out that my physios will if I ask them to, but I'm generally pretty good. They ring me the day before to remind me. So that's always good. But yeah, it's insane. It's insane. So many things. So I had, this morning I was listening, while I was getting ready for school runs and what have you, I was watching Scott Snyder make some cool bits and pieces on his live Instagram feed. So if you guys aren't following Scott over on Instagram and on YouTube, he runs live stuff all the time. You get to see him do so many things. It's wonderful to watch. I've got a real sort of penchant for things being made of wood. One of my uncles was a French polisher, so I grew up sort of with seeing people covered in wood chips and visiting the workshop and the smell of shellac and stuff like that. So when I watch it on YouTube, all the smells and everything come back. It's like I'm just 6 years old, plopped on a stool, just in that safe distance. Well, actually, it turns out probably wasn't as safe as it should have been without safety glasses. But yeah, so watching Scott's live chats always bring me back to those happy times when I was little. So, always good for those. So I'm going to go through and pick up a winner. The winner is going to be Joss. Joss has not won something for quite some time, so Joss is winning. Joss Kirk is winning all the goodies here. Joss Kirk. There we go. That's Josh Kirk's pile of stuff. Awesomeness. Now, guys, please remember to go in and press like on this video and share it to anybody that you think would enjoy it and maybe want to win some fluff or some yarn. These two are still available. We're going to be running until about 11:30, you know, unless, you know, we crash, which let's not wish that on me. So yeah. If I crash, guys, be patient. I'll just start the stream again. Last week, it doesn't allow me to connect it straight up to the same one. I think it allows our chat to continue, but it has to wait for the computer to reboot. So I lose that particular one. It creates a second video. So I will make sure we do that and then go in and restart it. So that's our worst case scenario, guys, is we run a second stream, and then if that crashes, we'll just jump over to Instagram like we did last time. That was so much fun. So I had Kim is cheeky. So those of you that know, YouTube has changed some rules, and they've been focusing on watch time for a fair bit of time now, for about 12 months to 18 months. They're really keen on watch time, and they watch a lot of things. You know, if your video makes someone watch another video, or if they get to your video and stop and get off the internet, whatever, they watch all that stuff. But now they've made all these new rules about if you can be a YouTube partner, like in the partner program, which basically means if you can get paid for your videos, and then also a few other little bits and pieces like live streaming, then you've got to, you know, you've got to have 4,000 viewing hours a year. And Kim is now using this as like a massive push to get me to stream for 2 hours a week. Now, I don't think I could do it. Honestly, I don't think I can go for 2 hours of just me sitting here rambling, because that's what I'm doing. I have no notes. The only piece of the paper I have is my pattern for my knitting, which I'll do in a sec. And then the piece of paper for writing down the winners and all that sort of stuff. So I'm just, you know, I've got no notes. So I just literally ramble on based on what you guys are saying in the chat. And, you know, if I screw a stitch up or something, that's always funny. But yeah. And that Kim says, but we will chat to you. But I feel bad. I feel bad enough taking an hour and a half of your time, let alone 2 hours. So, you know, it's just crazy. It's totally crazy. Speaking of knitting, I suppose I should knit some stitches. Now, this is that beanie that I'm giving away to my friend, but they don't watch my live streams, so I feel like I can do it. And also, I'm up to a much easier section now. I'm up to the top where I don't... there's just a bit of shaping. There's no colour work. Did you guys want to have a quick flash of what's on this beanie? I needed to specify that quite quickly because it sounded bad. Let's have a look. Are we ready? That's it. That's the only time you're going to get to see that. Nobody share this. No, I'm kidding. Share it with everybody. Share it with everybody because, you know, then we can all watch. Then there's... I knew someone was going to pick it up. Oh my gosh, Andrea, you are a shocker. See, normally normally every night when I go to sleep, I have to listen to an audiobook because otherwise my brain doesn't shut down. I'm a really light sleeper, and every single leaf skittering that is out there bothers me. Now, hang on 1 second. I've been asked a very important question. What's the pattern? I have the name of it here. Oops, my microphone's sitting on the pattern. It is called The Force Awakens Hat, but I have made a couple of adjustments because I didn't want the words in there because it's got words on it as well. Hang on, I've got a picture here. Oh, one-handed. Let's see, can you see that? The Force Awakens, and that's what it looks like on the pattern. Now, I'm doing this one particularly subtle for a reason, just because I wanted to make sure it was very subtle so that this person could wear it, you know, a lot of places that normally you wouldn't be able to get away with wearing Star Wars memorabilia, if that makes sense. Allegra says, have you heard of the Sleep With Me podcast? I listen to that most nights as I'm going to sleep, unless it's raining and the windows are open. I like that. So I just, where is the hat? It's here. It's in my hands. So I was saying, every night I have to listen to an audiobook, and generally speaking, it's because I need to have the earphones in once I'm asleep, because it gets quite noisy in the bedroom because of my husband, and so I can't sleep. If I get woken up, I can't get back to sleep. So I listen to the audiobook, and then with just the control on my earphones, I can actually just restart it if I wake up, or just sort of restart the playing, because I have it on a sleep timer, so it stops. But I've been listening to the same audiobook over and over, or same series of audiobooks over and over for the last few years, because I found that if I was listening to a new one, I wouldn't be able to go to sleep, because I get sucked into the book and I want to hear what's going on. But I realized I was like, because I have Audible. I have an Audible account, which I love. And I realized I was buying all these books each month, but I wasn't actually listening to them because I was listening to the same ones over and over again. So I made a conscious effort this week to start a new book, not when I was going to bed, but when I'm pottering around the house, or when I'm doing school runs and things like that. And so I might get 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, what have you. Then I started this new book, and I've popped a link in. I've popped it into my into the Amazon Fiberific Amazon store, so you can have a look at it. But I'm just opening it up here because it's a new version. It's a new author writing a Poirot style story, which I just really love. It's called The Monogram Murders, and it's been narrated by Julian Rhind-Tutt. And I have to say, I've got to get everything that he does voices for, because he does such good dialects and such good like male female voices, and it's so nice. So I really think that you need to get your hands on something that Julian Rhind-Tutt is voicing, because it's just fantastic. So Kim's still on about the 2 hours a week. Hang on. But yeah, so it's just really good. Now, I haven't gotten to the end of the story, but so far I'm actually really enjoying it, and it is sucking me, because I am an Agatha Christie fan. I like a good murder mystery. I love Poirot on TV. I love Miss Marple. I'm a little bit tragic. But I'm actually really enjoying how this story is written, but also how it's being read. And I think that's really what it comes down to. If someone's voice grates on you, you don't want to listen to them like all the time. Tanya, there's a link in the Tanya's just asked, how do I find you on Amazon? I've popped a link in the description down below. Let me just see if I can look at that. Go over here. I won't change it. Yeah, it's amazon.com/shop/Fiberific. So you can just jump on there and check a link. Now, while I'm here, I'll scroll back down and see all these messages I've missed. Here we go. Oh, Marion's joined in. Hey, Marion. Nerdy's husband snores like a dump truck. Yeah, mine too. It's very bad. It's very bad. Natasha's hubby sleeps like a forest of chainsaws. Well, we all have to deal with it, don't we? It's terrible. It's just terrible. Horrible. That was what I was trying to say, and it wasn't working for me. Maybe it's the crazy moon, Nerdy. Sorry, I got sucked into reading. Tara listens to true crime. I'm so sad. I can't watch a movie based on a true story at night if it's like a bit graphic or a bit bad. Because what happens is I'll be sucked into it thinking, this is great, this is fantastic. The second at the end I see this was based on a true story, I'm like, great, that's it. Now I have nightmares. And I have nightmares. So I was one of those kids that used to have night terrors all the time, and now I pretty well don't most of the time. But I think that if I do this sort of thing, then it starts it back up again, and I don't like that. So I avoid true murders, true crimes, stuff like that. I just listen to lots of fiction, and I'm reassured that it's just fiction. So yeah, so Where am I going? Oh, hang on. Scrolling up, because I can't read all the comments. Kim's still on the 2-hour-a-week thing. Good job, Kim. Look up Fart Trek on YouTube after this. It makes you laugh. Oh, I'm going to have to look that up too. Here we go. Kim says, but if you're getting sucked into a story, doesn't it? See, that's the thing, Kim. That's why I listen to the same one over and over again, because I know exactly what's going to happen. I'm not missing anything. And if I fall asleep, I fall asleep. Here we go. All I can think of is the YouTube video, Gilbert Gottland reads 50 Shades of Grey. Oh, geez. I was never into 50 Shades. I didn't go there. No, I read the first 3 pages, and it was written so badly, like the grammar and just the sentence structure bothered me so much I couldn't deal with it, so I put it back. Amazon link, right click or you will leave YouTube. Oh, thank you, Kim, for putting that link up. I really appreciate that. Andrea has nightmares as well. Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm not a fan of nightmares. And my daughter has night terrors if we don't keep her room under 18 degrees. So guess what we do? We keep her room under 18 degrees. That's 18 degrees C, for those of you not here. So, sorry, I managed to get through the backlog of all the messages, you guys, because I get the camera, okay, this is the deal. I used to have a camera where I could look there, and the camera was there, and then I could flick to the thing. But now the camera's up here, like it's a good 5 inches above where it was, and now I'm like looking straight over the top of my laptop. I can't even read what you're saying out of my peripherals, so I've got to adjust. I'm just adjusting, guys. Off topic, how do you get your craft mojo back when you've lost it? I actually have a video up on YouTube, one of my older videos, one of my list videos that I did for a while there. One of the things I definitely do if I've lost my craft mojo, because I lose it sometimes. I get tired, I get burnt out, I don't want to work on things, I just want to watch TV and be a slob. And one of the things I tend to do is I hit Ravelry and just scroll through what's new. And the other thing that you can do when you go to Ravelry, you can choose your friends, like the people that you've friended, and you can scroll through what they've done. And sometimes seeing what your friends are working on inspires you to try something new. It might be like, I might just have a go with that. I might just see how that is. The other thing that I sometimes do is if sometimes it's because of boredom. It's like I've done this so many times. I'm tired of crocheting chains. I'm tired of doing this, whatever. Sometimes I will just go and learn a new skill and just do a little swatch size thing and just learn a new stitch or pick up a different craft. So I might pick up a cross stitch for 10 minutes. And the thing with cross stitch is I like the end product, but it takes so long to do anything. It makes crocheting feel so much faster. So sometimes doing another craft for a little while will make you go, oh my God, I so much prefer this other thing. And then you go back because your passion's reignited. But there's some of the tips that I do. So you guys pop in the chat what you do to get your craft mojo back, whether it's knitting, crocheting, whatever. So just so we can all help Joss out, which is weird because Joss does normally do 400,000 things, but you've been very blanket centric. Maybe it's time to try something that's not a blanket and see how that goes. I'm just going back through the thing here. Love the crime shows, but same true stories. Andrea says, find some... Natasha says, Joss, I find scrolling Pinterest and Ravelry and holding yarn helps. I crochet a square I haven't done before. I'll see you later, Gamer Widows. Have fun at real life knit groups. And Kim's correct. Don't press yourself. It'll come back when you find something you want to work on. The skills won't disappear. So even if you have a little break. So I would try something different. Look at a different craft, maybe even. Check out Pinterest, check out Instagram, check out Ravelry. And sometimes just allowing yourself an hour just to scroll rather than be like, I have to cast something on, I have to work on a project, I've got to do something. Cottage Keeper says, watching tutorials on YouTube is what I use for knitting and crochet inspiration. Oh, there you go. See, there's some cool stuff there. I try all different things. I actually find that when I realize I've been watching TV or something like that, and not doing any sort of craft work while I'm doing it, I found that I started getting frustrated with myself. So I was like, oh my God, I'm just sitting here. I'm not even creating anything. So I had to give myself tell myself to calm down, like calm yourself down, calm your farm, Chantel, is what I say. Calm your farm. And then just sort of, I don't know, there's so many different reasons why we can have, like why we need breaks. Oh, sorry guys, why we need breaks in our craft. But yeah, you've been making a lot of blankets and maybe you need to just make something else. So yeah, this hat is going to be way bigger than I anticipated, honestly. I really hope it's not too big. Where are we? I'm with Nerdy, pet the stash and start dreaming through Ravelry. Yeah. Make some more fabric pouch bags. Yeah, that's what I tend to do. I tend to hit the sewing machine. The group on Ravelry where they list free and limited time patterns is amazing. Oh, there you go. That's actually a really good tip as well. So finding something free to try rather, because I find that frustrating as well, buying patterns and then never doing them, because like bored or whatever the reason is. Hang on, 2, 4. Oh, okay. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. Back to this. I've realised, you guys, that all my stitch markers that I have on my projects, none of them are glued because I'm too impatient to wait until they're glued. So I just use them unglued. So, yeah. Just thought I'd share that with you. Excuse me, I got inspired by a video game. Totally. You can get inspiration anywhere. You know, a show I really love for winter woolens inspiration is Shetland, because they're all freezing their butts off because it's freezing, and so they wear these amazing cable sweaters. I mean, I'm not very good with cables. Cables are something I really struggle with, getting them tight enough. But yeah, so many beautiful things there. Animal Crossing has knitted hats. I did not know that. There you go. We're only at 10:30, you guys. So what have I talked about so far? Have I mentioned that I have a mystery lace club that you can all join, and get free, get patterns and yarn and a complete kit delivered to your door every month from an awesome established designer, and you can just sign up. You just go to the Fiberific website and you can sign up there, and you just have the money deducted out of your PayPal account once a month. There's no big upfront huge amounts of 3 months in advance or anything like that. It's just a once a month deduction, and it just gets shipped to your door. Have I mentioned that? No? Well, you can. There's, you can do that. It's a new thing, and I'm very excited about it. And I've been doing lots of planning and things like that. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm also very much looking forward, hang on, I'm just doing a thing. I'm very much looking forward to Caffeinated Crafters tonight, you guys. So those of you who are in the local Brisbane area, we meet up at the Browns Plains Village Square Coffee Club at 6:30. We often have sort of dinner and drinks, like coffees and stuff like that, because we all have to drive. And we hang around and we craft and we chat and we, are just generally cheeky to the staff. Kim says she's going. I'm definitely going. I've warned my husband today. I'm like, don't you forget, I got my thing tonight. I got my group. And don't forget Marie's stuff. No, Marie's stuff is already on the bench waiting. And I think is Joss coming tonight? Because if that's the case, then I can bring Joss's prize also. I did work out what Marie's stuff was. It was on the sticky note on top of the stuff, which was hers. So, that made it a lot easier. I've got like a little pile, but I have one prize sitting there with no name on it. I have no idea who I'm supposed to send it to. So if you're waiting on a prize, send me a direct message and tell me what you think your prize is, and I'll let you know if yours is the one that hasn't been sent. Kim says I have to go to Kmart first to buy water bottles for the kids. I hate how many water bottles we go through. I hate it so much. It's frustrating. Like, I just think back when I was at high school, I didn't have a water bottle. I was just a bubbler kid. I just always drank my water from the bubbler, which, you know, thinking back on it, probably wasn't the wisest thing. But Kim says you owe me some. I don't think I do. I don't think so, Kim. Cheeky. My daughter lost her sports bottle. My daughter left hers on a field, and then went back the next day, and it was literally still there. So that was good. And then, but she's forgotten something. She's lost something else. I can't remember what it was now. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm like, you have to go and get that. So we'll see if she did. Sorry, my camera's just a bit higher than I'm used to. I could probably tilt it down a little bit, but I'm nervous that it's going to screw up everything if I touch it, because it's kind of precarious. So I have to keep just lifting this up. Lift it up. But yeah, so Kim says, I bought myself one of those double-walled metal bottles from Kmart. Nerdy says, whatever it is, it ain't mine. Well, thank you, Nerdy. I appreciate your honesty. I think, has all your stuff arrived? Kim, I have to confess, if I can't see inside of a water bottle, I don't buy it. I like clear water bottles. I like them to be clear so I can see, because I remember going to my they're actually not real cousins, but I looked at their water bottles, and they, like, because we all got given water bottles to drink out of while we were there, because their mum, you know, was like, you know, it's easier if everyone has a water bottle rather than dirtying 40 glasses, which makes sense. But I remember thinking, this water tastes a little bit weird, and then when I sort of poked my finger in and under the rim, there was green stuff. So I'm so funny about water bottles. I have to be able to see them, that they're clear. Tanya says she's heartbroken. She's just found out her daughter and boyfriend first breakup, and she's at school. Oh, that's horrible. That's terrible. Especially when you can't be there. That's the worst for me, is when you can't be there to give them the hug. They need a hug. Maybe not in front of all their friends from their mum, but they totally need a hug from their mum. You take the top off to drink so you can see inside. Yeah, but does it still have the, like, narrow and then wider, so it's got that lip under it? Anyway, that's my thing. I nearly didn't buy myself a tea thermos because of that. But I get in there with, like, a baby bottle brush every time I use it. My husband thinks I'm weird. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't like them water bottles. Tanya, I hope that your daughter is home from school soon so that you can talk to her and give her a hug and encourage her. School age relationships rarely pan out. Yeah, that's true. But it doesn't hurt any less. Kathleen Hansen says, having trouble with my putrefying again, sigh. I don't know what that typo should have been. I'm currently using my thermos teacup without a lid to put water into, stays cold for ages. I always check water bottles. Yeah, there's lots of stuff. I like it clear. I mean, it doesn't have to be like clear. It just has to be opaque enough for me to see. Like, if it's a green bottle but it's clear, I'm okay with it. Does that make sense? Oh, computer trouble. Sorry, Kathleen. Thank you. Have you guys been having some problems with your spell check, just spell checking you to the most weirdest word that you've never used? Because I've been coming across that a bit lately, and it's been bugging me. I'll send out a tweet and have to delete it because it's got some random word in it that I have no idea of why it was there. And same with Instagram, you've got to delete it and redo it because you can't just fix a typo. I hate that so much, that you can't fix a typo. So yeah, that's my pet peeve for today, my friends, is not being able to fix typos in Twitter and Instagram. So if I have a typo in an Instagram and I've shared it to Facebook already, that typo goes to Facebook. But then I can go to Facebook and edit the post and fix the typo. And Facebook owns Instagram. So why can't I fix it there? But anyway, that's my high horse today, guys. I'm being very calm about my internet feed. I'm trying to not let anything bug me about that. And just, focus on everything. I hate it when you can't edit. It's infuriating. Yes, see, that's right. Computer won't let me go to YouTube. What is wrong with your computer? That's terrible. Tara says it's happened to me, but only because my little brother completely changed my dictionary settings. He's so annoying. Oh my gosh. Maybe I should check my dictionary settings. I'll have to have a look. Because my daughter likes to do stuff to my tech just to wait and see how long it takes for me to bother. Autocorrect hates my real last name. Autocorrect hates my real first name. And it's not like I don't type it 16,000 times. You don't think like me adding it to the dictionary 40,000 times would have fixed the problem by now. I know Chantel's a bit weird, but it's not completely beyond the realms, right? It's not... it's not that unusual. I mean, it's a little unusual. It's not totally unheard of, though. I'm nearly at the end of a round. Da, 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 da. Oh, guys, do you know what I had a delivery of yesterday? So happy. I'm probably more happy than you will be. I got delivery of 20 kilos of citric acid. It only took a week and a half longer than it was supposed to take, but it is here, which means more dyeing is going to happen because I ran out of dye after that last batch. I ran out of citric acid after the last batch. And I'm making myself a jumper, which is it's called the Chickadee. It's Ysolda Teague. It's from Little Red in the Big City, something like that. Anyway, I can't remember the exact name, but I'll link it into the Amazon group later. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk about, was the book. But I haven't linked it into the Amazon shop yet. It's Little Red in the Big City. It is not a new book. It is an old book. It's totally old. But it's such an amazing book for making fitted garments. And being the size that I am has always put me off. It's totally put me off making myself a jumper because it's a big investment. It's a lot of yarn. It's a lot of measuring, and I had a friend who popped into the store to pick up some bits and pieces, and she did some measurements for me, which was really amazing. And so I've got some really good accurate measurements, because measuring yourself is a bit hit and miss. You really are better off getting someone else to do it for you if you can. And I just really like how it shows you different methods for doing things. Allegra's just said I pulled it out Sunday for a look about reading about wrapping yarn overs, and that's the thing. I'm doing some shaping in this sweater, and there's some wrapped some wrapped short rows, and I really liked how they did it. And Natasha's back and she's watching at work. Don't get busted, Natasha. Joss watches from work as well, and Tammy listens while she's driving for work. So you guys are all terrible. You need to get together with the girlfriends, some wine, and make yourself one of those duct tape dress forms. I've got a dress form. I've got it set to my measurements, but you've got to get the measurements first. And I'm not a fan of being taped into the duct tape. I can't cope with the thought. So it's a good idea, but it just doesn't work for me because of my, that would mean people touching me, and I don't like that. So so this book has got all these amazing, you've got a pile of patterns that are really flattering and cute and just gorgeous, using yarn that you can easily get your hands on or substitute quite easily, which I really like because I have substituted some. And it goes into a lot of information, but at the start it's an amazing resource for different cast-ons and different ways to do short rows and all this stuff for adjusting, because everyone who's bigger isn't necessarily bigger everywhere. So you might need bigger armholes like I do, but I don't need a bigger bust area. Or you may need a bigger bust area but not need bigger armholes. Normally those two measurements indicative of each other. They correlate to each other, but not in my case and not in some other people's cases. So you might need some extra short rows or darting around your bust area, but you don't want a bigger armhole. And this book is amazing for showing you how to get around some of these sort of traps and pitfalls to make yourself a beautifully fitted garment that fits you and not just necessarily a body type, but your body. It shows you how to adjust your different measurements into fitting it into this pattern. It's a little convoluted, but at the end of it, it starts to explain things like once you've done what she says and get all the measurements and everything like that and work it out, once you've sat down and done that, the actual knitting process is a breeze. It's just keeps going. So yeah, it's crazy. You can get there's a place that 3D prints dress forms for your body. It's super expensive. I can imagine it would be. I really love that book because of all the patterns are made for Ysolda size and her bigger friends, so you can see better what will work for your figure. Exactly, and the different body types as well, which I really like. Hey Tara, welcome to the group. Welcome back to the group. You know, you're a regular. So yeah, so this particular book is just fantastic, and I highly recommend it for anybody who has a slightly unusual shape in their figure somewhere. They don't even have to be plus size. They just need to be different shaped, because this book will really help you to make a garment to fit your shape. And that's what I really like about it, is that you can have bigger armholes but then a smaller bust and a narrower shoulder point and all this sort of stuff, and you can fix it from cast on. It's not just, oh, I'll tweak that as I get to it kind of thing. It's get the cast on right, then expand it back out, bring it back in, and what have you, to get it around all the different places without having bust starts at your waist or having, do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I find frustrating, is just the shaping that's in some patterns sometimes. And not to say they're bad, it's just they don't suit my figure. The shaping in the, by different you mean not a runway model body shape. Exactly right. I just mean not a standard, you know, straight up perfect whatever the statue size is for this size. If you've got a size 10 figure but then a size 14 bust, making garments is insane, because none of the busts will fit you, or the rest of the thing will be baggy as anything, which is just horrible. And how to just change the boobs at my waist issue. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know how to help you with that, because I have a similar problem. Tanya says, I find it hard to get things to look nice. Do you think that book would help with altering woven or crochet clothing, or it's just for knitted? I think the book has been specifically written for knitting patterns because it's got knitting patterns in it. But as a resource, and if you're good at crochet, you could use those skills to add in short rows and adjust measurements and base it off measurements rather than stitch counts. I'm sure it would be helpful as well. Hey Lane, it's been a while since we've seen you. How are you going? So this book is just, I wish I could remember the exact name of it. But it's Ysolda Teague, and I think it's Big Red in the City. I think that's what it's called, or Red in the Big City, something like that. There's a girl with a beautiful mustardy coloured top on in the cover, and it's, I don't know, it's just, there's some beautiful garments in there. So I'm looking forward to making more. I've cast on the Chickadee, Little Red in the City. Thank you, Allegra. I will add a link later on into my Amazon shop so you can see it in there as well, so you can get a look at it. Just look behind me for the title. Oh, awesome job. So it is, isn't it her, it's got an A on the end, I believe, for Ysolda. It's not Ysolda, it's Ysolda. So, pop an A on the end, you should be right. Lane says she normally has a board game night tonight, but she didn't go. Well, I'm glad you could join us. I'm about to give away this beautiful fluff, Nova, 50% yak, 50% tussar silk. There's 50 grams of it here. It is delicious. Look at this color. It's just so pretty. I love it. I love tonal creams. I've got it's a thing. I'm sorry. And that's why I don't that's why I don't dye the yarn, the fiber, although I'm starting to brave it a bit more, and I'm trying to venture into it. I've got some at home that I'm test dyeing to see if I want to add dyed yarn to my dyed fiber to my regular selections. See my selections back here, all pretty. Woo! It's one of those things. It's just dyeing yarn is a lot easier than dyeing fiber in my brain. Now, it's probably not the same for everybody, but I always find it very stressful dyeing fiber because I'm afraid I'm going to felt it. At the end of the day, I'm afraid I'm going to felt it. And so I don't generally dye it for you guys. I dye it for myself all the time because if I felt it, I'll just run it through a drum carder or something like that. Wait for Chantel to link it in her Amazon shop to buy it though. I appreciate that, Kim. The things that are in my little Amazon shop, if you click through them and then make a purchase of them or of something else even that's not there, but if you go through that link, it actually really helps this channel. I get given they're very small commissions, and they help me to buy new equipment because I get them as Amazon gift vouchers. They build up over time. And that's how I get new lighting stands and new microphone stands and lenses for my cameras and things like that, is I just save up those little vouchers and put them together towards a new piece of equipment to try and make everything work a bit better. So if you shop through my Amazon store, especially if you're outside of Australia and you can't shop through my online store, it really does help. Nerdy says, speaking of Amazon, they want me to answer. Sorry, I've got a leg of a tripod right here and it made it hard to read everything. Speaking of, they want me to answer a question. I don't know what kind of question that would be. That's weird. All right. Is it like, is Chantel legit? Then the answer is yes, Chantel's totally legit. She'd never do anything bad ever because she is awesome. I think the other issue with fiber is that spinning dyed fiber doesn't give you the same result every time. No, it totally doesn't. And I do tend to, I will quite often spin it because I'm what it is lazy me here. I would tend to spin it undyed and then dye all the yarn together. So I do get a more balanced look overall of the finished item. And so I do tend to prefer to do it that way. And I sort of wonder why other people don't, but then a lot of people aren't comfortable with dyeing. So I'm going to start maybe, don't hold me to it because I haven't decided if I like it enough, but I'm thinking of starting to do the dyed fibers. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Kim says depends on how you diz the bat. Well, not everything ends up in a bat. So, some things do, some things don't. And sometimes I just buy a bat. So I've got a little drum carder. It's this little mini one. And it's good quality and it's a great little drum carder. But it only makes small bats. And so I have to make a lot of bats to do a decent sized project. I tend to not. I cannot help you with anything about Denise needles. I have held them once and put them back. That's how I felt about them. So, not a huge fan. So, Nova, this silk right here, we're going to give it away at 11 o'clock, you guys. Not silk, what am I saying? It's yak and silk, yak and tussar silk. There we go. I'm going to give it away at 11 o'clock. So I've got to think of a question for you guys between now and 11. I'm going to knit some more stitches here. I'm currently knitting this beanie in Andromeda, and it was in Remington and Graphite, if I recall the grey correctly. I think I'm out of Remington. I'm out of Remington for now. Honestly, it wasn't the last skein when I took it, all right? It wasn't. It is now, however, so you can't have it. What is the staple length of yak? Yak's really short. I'm not going to pull on this beautiful fiber here, but it's very short because it's a double coated animal. So a lot of the undercoats, which are the soft ones, here you go. The double coat soft undercoats are very short. They're fluffy rather than really anything else. So the yak is very short. It's the tussar silk that's got the better length. Tara says my hat is pretty. Thanks, Tara. It's a gift for a friend. Any chance you can bring me a short cable for my needles tonight and some sort of lace weight yarn you choose? I trust you. Well, send me a message after live stream and I'll chat to you about like what you mean by short. But I can totally bring stuff with me tonight. Kathleen Hansen says, never tried yak, but Tussar silk is my favorite silk. Yeah, I love Tussar silk. Look, mulberry silk is lovely and it's normally a lot longer, natural lengths, but Tussar silk is fantastic to give you, it's like it gives you silk just a smidge bit of texture as well. And so I really like Tussar silk for that. They're okay for larger needles. Oh, hang on a second, Tara's talking. They're okay for a larger needle size. I've been using up to size 1 to 4 Knitter's Dream. Oh, okay. Are you talking about the Denise needles again? I'm not sure. Nerdy says she's not spun with Tussar silk. You totally need to get your hands on. And in all honesty, you can hit Etsy and get little bags of it out of the US a lot cheaper than it would be for me to ship it to you. So, yeah, so you just look up Tussar silk, and it's not as white as mulberry silk is. And be prepared, it has texture, like not heaps of texture, but a bit of texture. Scott says Tussar silk feels like cheese puffs. It doesn't feel like Australian cheese puffs. Nerdy says I'm not a fan of Knitter's Pride. Look, yeah, I'm a Chow Goo girl. I really have to confess. I had Knit Pros back when they were Knit Pros. I've got like set that I bought many years ago. Back when they were Knit Picks. Yeah, Knit Picks. Yeah, it's very I would de-stash the set, but they're a Mother's Day present and I can't bring myself to do that. Will you do a tutorial for color work? I will do a tutorial for color work if you like, but color work is not one of my super strengths. Does that make sense? Like, I can do it and I'm happy enough with it, but it is not a super strength. Did you get the wood knit picks? Yes, I got Harmony Woods. I also have some of the nickel plateds, but I don't like nickel plated needles, so I didn't know that when I bought them. I definitely prefer stainless steel if I can get my hands on it. But that's why, this is exactly why there's so many different needle companies with so many different textures and types of needles, is because everyone likes something a bit different. And different people with different knitting styles, or they prefer to knit specific fabrics and what have you. So I think it's, while I'm like Chow Goo all the time, all the way, both their bamboo and their stainless steel, I know that not everybody is, because some people prefer a nickel plated, or they prefer a wood versus a bamboo, things like that. There's different strokes for different folks, you guys. I thought Knit Pro was EU, Knitter's Pride was US, and Knit Picks were the rebadged ones sold by Knit Picks. Originally, back many years ago, they were all Knit Picks. So then Knitter's Pride is another company entirely. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure where the Knitter's Pride fits in now, but they're a totally different company now. Knit Picks switched to a China factory and the quality went to pot. Yeah, that was the thing. Has anyone tried the carbons? I haven't. Vilex says can't stand boys hooks. Look, when it comes to hooks, I'm such a fussy fusspot. Honestly, I'm the worst person to talk to about hooks. I like a soft grip on a hook. I really do. I prefer a soft grip. I like the Chow Goo little wooden grip. They feel a lot like the shape of the Clover brownie ones. And so I like those, but I like an inline hook versus a, my brain's hurting. There's two different types of hooks, and one lines up nice and neat and the other one doesn't quite. And I like the one that's not inline better, because I can crochet faster. And I can't remember if that's the Boy or the Susan Bates versions, but I have a whole video, you guys, on that particular topic. So you can go through and check that out. But I started my crocheting journey off once I moved off the nasty hooks. My first good hooks were tulips. And I still have my first set and I use them whenever I can. Otherwise, I'm a Clover Soft Touch. That's what I use. So, and I do stock them occasionally, but I can't always get them from my local distributor. So, yeah, we'll see. You know, that's just one of those things. I like Chowgoo, Clover, Boy, and Bates and Tulip. Tapered. Thank you. Tapered was the word I was looking for. I use a big foamy grip made for pencils for folks who have disability. I love them for all my crochet hooks. Yeah, I just found what happened was many years ago, when I first started my journey into turning this craft into a career, I worked for a designer and I would need to knock out an entire dress in a couple of weeks. And I was finding that my hands were getting, like my wrist and hand were getting so sore I couldn't grip a piece of paper. And then it was suggested to me that I try these bigger hooks, these soft hooks. And I got my hands on one that I really liked. And then I said to my husband, I want this set. And he bought me the set. So yeah, I love me some long taper on needles. Yeah, I love the Chowgoo taper on their knitting needles. It's such a long, nice taper into a nice tippity tip point, which is one of the things I really like about it. Oops, I just split my yarn. That was silly. It's because I wasn't watching what I was doing. Yeah, they've got I saw a photo somewhere where someone had compared an Addy to a Chowgoo, and the actual taper on a Chowgoo is a lot longer than an Addy taper, and goes to a slightly sharper point. So I really like that. So it's 11 o'clock. My question for you is... if you were a crocheter, do you prefer inline hooks, which is where the hook is all in line, where you can put it through a normal stitch marker, through a normal stitch gauge, or do you prefer a tapered hook? And if you're a knitter, do you prefer a long tapered tip, or do you prefer a rounder tip? So yes. So and I'll go through and I'll randomly choose a winner for this beautiful Nova silk yak blend for me. So Vilek says inline for her because it's faster. See, whereas for me, I find the tapered to be faster. Isn't that interesting? We all have different ways that we like to do stuff. So here we go. I'm seeing some responses start to come in. Excellent, you guys. I'm going to have a sip of my coffee in a second while you have chats to each other about what you prefer for your hooks. And I'm at the beginning of another round. Perfect time for a drink. Am I the only one? Sorry, I'm just reading some things in here, and it just had me thinking, like when I buy a biro, like a pen, it has to be like a fine tip. I don't like the rounder ballpoints anymore. It's weird. I like a nice fine tip that flows. Am I the only one who likes that with a pen? Is it weird of me that I have to write with the pen first before I buy it, even if it's just a cheapy pen? If anyone wants to try some furls tonight, I can bring some. I totally want to try furls. I have not tried one. I've seen them and drooled upon them, or drooled over the images on the computer, but I haven't actually held one in my hand. I'd love to hold one. Yeah, the yarn influences my crochet hook choice. That is totally true, isn't it? I find that I don't like to use bamboo on a splitty yarn. I will definitely use middle. Fine tip pens for sure. Chintamani prefers fountain pens. There was someone else who was talking about fountain pens last time we were chatting. Well, not last time, but another time we were chatting. Long and tapered for knitting. I better go through and start looking at who's going to win this gorgeous fluff. Hey, I could just sit here and just read all your things. Let me have a look here. I'd love to try furls more than I can afford. Yeah, it's a bit like that, isn't it, Kathleen? All right. Let's have a look here. People are still coming in. People have still got their stuff. Lots. Bamboo is always helpful, really slippery yarns. Yeah, totally. I like to knit with bamboo when I'm knitting silk lace. Totally. I use bamboo tips for that. Look at us all correcting our typos. It's hilarious. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to choose a winner in a minute or so. Make sure that you guys have all pressed like on the videos, and if you have not already, maybe share it. There's a little button down the bottom that says share, and you can choose whichever of your social medias that you like to send things to. You don't have to, it's just helpful. And if we've got a few people in the chat, it makes it more fun for everybody, doesn't it? Lots of people liking lots of things, but it seems to be a lot of us prefer a nice pointy knitting needle, don't we? Tanya says, I'll never buy bamboo knitting needles again. Look, it's one of those things, Tanya. I used a lot of cheaper bamboo needles and hated bamboo for such the longest time. But when I started selling the Chow Gu, I originally only was ordering in the stainless steel, and someone said to me, hey, I want their bamboo. I've used it before and I love it. And I was sitting there thinking, I don't want to order the bamboo. And so I ordered it in, and that's when I realized not all bamboo is created equal. It's totally different to any of the bamboo stuff that I already had. It's so smooth and so well made. And I've had one customer return a split one before out of, I don't even know how many I've sold. So I think it's one of those things. That's probably why, because they're all cheap. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I would totally get your hands on like a better quality bamboo before you completely rule bamboo. I mean, there's a possibility you just don't like bamboo. So, you know, I mean, that's totally the case. It can totally be the case. You just may not like it. I hate the end of the handle poking my palm. I missed where that was. I need a long handle because I have big hands for a lady. Oh, okay. I understand now. Okay, so the winner of this pile of fluff is Josephine Phillips. Josephine, I will need you to PM me your address. Josephine Phillips. So congratulations to Josephine for winning the fluff today, you guys. We still have this gorgeous, gorgeous, super squishy hank of Whirlpool, which is 80% extra fine merino, 20% silk. Not even on the web store yet. I've sold a few of them sort of in person at events, but they've never been up on the website. So we'll see how that goes. No, you're kidding. No, I'm totally not kidding. I'm totally not kidding. Although you may have to watch out now for people impersonating you to try and score your prize. So, you know, especially Kim. So just watch out for Kim, because she will totally try to take your prize. Although she may not, because Kim's not a spinner. So you might be lucky in this particular instance to not have to go up against Kim. Let me have a look. I've got such a long cable now for this magic loop of this hat. I could totally change it because I'm on interchangeables, but that would involve me getting up. And, you know, I don't want to. I'm quite comfortable here. So are you guys happy with the string quality today? Has it been a bit better? Has it been behaving? I found that my internet quality is not too bad today when I was checking my upload speeds and stuff before I went live. But yeah, I'm just, you know, from your end, I'm not sure how it looks. From my end, it looks fantastic. So, you know, toot my own horn, toot, toot, toot. But yeah, it's, you know, one of those things. Where am I at? So I am nearly finished this hat, and I want to get it washed and blocked tonight. And then hopefully, if it's, because it's Queensland summer here, everything's drying really fast. So I'm hoping that maybe post tomorrow or maybe Monday, probably more likely Monday, because it is nice and thick. Because it's stranded knitting. I'll turn it inside out once I get to the end of the row. Because it's stranded knitting, it's so much thicker than anything I would need here. Scott says it's been working great today. Lucky. Yeah, I know. Last week was so disheartening for me. I was so upset with all the crashing and then coming back and then crashing and you know, I mean, I'm probably speaking too soon. It could still crash yet, you guys. But I think taking one of the cameras out of play has made a huge difference, and I'm hoping that you don't mind having everything in one screen instead of split across two. I hope that's okay. Kathleen says, I'd love to be able to try all the different needle and hook brands, but there is a limit to what I can spend and how many is too many. Yeah, it comes down to that. And sometimes if you're just happy with what you've got, stick with what you've got. Like, seriously, if there's no reason for you to keep trying different ones, if you're happy with something, then, I mean, that was sort of like me when I hit tulip for my second and then clover for my third. I was happy with what I had, so I didn't see the point in trying all the different ones. So, you know, it's just one of those things that you get to a content point and then that's it. There's no need, you know. If you have to buy an extra hook in a size to go into another project or something like that, there may be. But if you're content, it's fun seeing everyone on Instagram. It was so fun last week. I had such a good time, and I am totally planning on having like something like that pretty regularly, where we can, like, I'll organize it in advance, hopefully, and then people can get projects ready and laid out, and they can join the chat and literally show and tell what they're working on. And so I think that would be a lot of fun for all of us, because I loved seeing what people work. Mind you, there was a lot of footage of me going like this, because I was looking at my screen really intently, because I was just like, oh, what have you got? What's that? What are you working on? Excuse me. So, you know, there was a lot of that. But yeah, if we can organize that, and if everyone's keen, we can have like a little short live thing probably once a week again, but just on a different day, where we can all show and tell what we're working on. Kim says, I lost picture and sound for a minute just after you asked what people preferred. Otherwise, I'm fine. Okay. Kim says, if you don't try new ones, then you won't miss not having them. That's totally true. You can do it at night. We can have a PJ party. Yeah, I'm totally going to plan a different time zone for it. I'll have to have a think about when I'm going to work it. I was so glad to be able to get my chow goose set before my craft budget had to be axed. It's one of those things, isn't it? And, you know, craft budget is not a necessity to, like, while we like to believe it is, it's not a necessity to life. And if you have to be thinking about food and rent and power and mortgage or whatever, sometimes the craft budget does get slashed for these things. And so having some good tools while you can afford them is really, I think it's actually really clever. And because they only go up in value as well. Like if you wait and wait and wait, they're just going to get dearer and dearer. So, excuse me, it's one of those things. If you can afford a decent set of tools, get them while you can afford them. And then once you've in a position where you can't afford them, you've still got the good tools, and all you have to afford then is the occasional bit of yarn, which works out a lot less expensive. And, you know, you can always hit like Goodwill stores and things like that to grab like an old white cabled sweater or something, pull it apart, dye it yourself, and then, you know, then you've got oodles of yarn. So, you know, it's one of those things. Whereas if you learn how to spin, you get more crafting time for less cost, if that makes sense. You can buy your fiber a lot less expensive than you pay for yarn, and then you've got the enjoyment of spinning it and then turning it into the garments. But you've got to have the tools up front. That's the thing. Nerdy says she needs to pay her student loans off quick. I totally understand. When you've got bills, they've got to be paid. So it's one of those things. So where are we at? We're at 11:40. In about 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to give away this Skegness big squishy. It's so squishy. It's so nice. That's why I started spinning. Tanya, that's why I started spinning. I was so tired of seeing all these beautiful yarns that people were doing. And then, like, I couldn't afford cashmere yarn. Like, back then, my husband was the only income, and I was staying at home with our fairly recently born daughter, and I had to stop working early, like a lot earlier than, a lot earlier than I planned because I had some health issues. So I stopped working when I was about 3 months pregnant, and we were kind of hoping for that extra sort of 3 months, 4 months of salary to save up a bit. But it was one of those things. I couldn't afford all the pretty yarns I wanted, and so I learned how to spin. And I rented a spinning wheel for my local guild for, I think it was like $2 a week. And then I learned how to spin through my local guild. So it's one of those things. You just learn how to do it out of necessity more than anything else, because you want the delicious luxury fibers, but the fluff is better value than the yarn. Does that make sense? No. But anyway, $2 was so cheap. It was ridiculous. I think it's only $5 a week now, even at the guild that I bought it from. I'm not entirely certain, but yeah, it was one of those things. Kim's going shoe shopping and meeting a friend. So Kim's going to go off and have fun. So I don't know who's going to wield a spanner. So maybe I'll just be the spanner of doom. Like, bam, don't be naughty. Necessity and desire. Totally necessity and desire. Like, you've got to have the desire to want it, but you need it. Sometimes it comes down to the necessity of the skills to learn the skills that you require to make the things you want. Does that make sense? Nerdy says, I'm grateful I have enough sock yarn to keep me happy for a while. I'll see you tonight, Kim, and I'll try to remember to bring all the things. There's lots of things to bring. I'm making a basket of stuff. I've just been dumping things in it. With furls and a blanket. Yes, you're bringing furls and a blanket. I'm bringing different people's prizes and maybe this hat if it's not finished. Now I have a few skeins of lace weight and need to learn how to use a super thin yarn. It's one of those things that you think is going to be trickier than it is, because the thinness of the yarn is off-putting, but it's just cast on. Honestly, cast on and give it a whirl, because just because you're using lace weight doesn't mean you have to be using 2mm needles. That's one of the things I love, especially about Boo Knits patterns, is that even though she's using fine lace weights, to get it to be open and lacy, she uses like 3s, 3.5s sort of things. So, and all the way up to I think even 4.5s to get the massively open edges. And that's one of the advantages of an interchangeables kit, is if you're doing a lace pattern or a lace project like that where you need to change your needle sizes to get up more open, then you can just change tips. You don't have to be messing around knitting off one cable onto another and hoping they don't pop off the end while you're not looking. So interchangeables win. Again, winning. So for those of you that haven't heard, I have a mystery lace club that I've started. Lots of plugging today, guys. I have to do it. I'm sorry. You can find more information on it on the Fiberific website. There's a tab at the top that says Mystery Lace Club, and it is a once-a-month payment, and you will receive one of these boxes. Where is it? These boxes over here in your post box once a month, with everything you need to make a complete project. So there's no little bits of sample yarn. It's the entire amount required for the project, as well as anything that it may specifically state that you need, like beads or what have you. So it's one of those things. If you want to grab that, and the interchangeables are a perfect companion to go with the Mystery Lace Club. Scott Snyder's laughing at my Mystery Lace Club. Don't be laughing at my Mystery Lace Club. I love it. I love it a lot. I've got some amazing designers on board. I've already got the first 4 months worth of designers set up. So we've got lots and lots of beautiful, pretty things, and we'll see how we go. Kathleen says, love lace weight yarn, knit a fingering weight pattern and get a lovely soft garment. Absolutely. Nerdy says it's important to be grateful for what we have. Absolutely. It's totally important. And I'm not going to reread the message from Scott laughing at my lace club. So yes, it's one of those things. So are you pimping it on Rav? I am pimping it on Rav to a degree. I've bought some advertising, so it should appear in little banners and some groups and what have you. And I've got it. Oh, you're not laughing. You're just pretending it's the first time, because I have said it a couple of times today, haven't I? I say it before I give away something. It makes me feel better. I make you listen to me talk about something that you can buy, and then I give you something. So, it's one of those things. Tanya asked, does billing start when sign up or on a certain date? Billing starts when you sign up. So if you signed up today, each month on the 1st, you would have it deducted. As long as you're set up before the 20th of each month, then you will make it into the following month. So if you sign up before the 20th of February, you will get the first box that ships on the 20th of March. Does that make sense? But if you want to make sure that, you get paid on the 5th, you don't want to be signing up on the 4th. You want to sign up on the 6th or 7th. So, go that way. Dude, I put the button you sent me on my knitting bag. Oh, that's brilliant. So we're a lighter garment, so we can actually wear our knits totally. In Queensland, it is one of those places where, I was reading some stories of people who were talking about their weather down in Melbourne, how it was really hot and how they weren't coping with the humidity. And then when I looked at the humidity and it was like 50%, I had to try and oh yeah, that's dreadful, because there's nothing for us to have 70-80% humidity up here. And so you've got to we think silks, we think cottons, or really lace weight garments, because everything else is just too much. Like, I'm really loving knitting an 8-ply hat. Like, this is in the Andromeda. I'm loving knitting it, but I'd never be able to wear it here. Like, this is a gift for someone who lives somewhere really, 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 really cold. So, it's awesome that I get to make this and ship it off to another country. But, yeah, it's one of those things. I love to use thicker yarns, but here we just that's why I'm such a lace weight and 4-ply tragic. 4-ply is as thick as I go. I made I'm not sure if you guys saw, I had posted photos on Instagram. I made the Isolde Teague hat Sordade. I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry. I've just killed the name of someone's pattern. But again, 4-ply, because there's no way I could wear a stranded hat in 8-ply here. And even a 4-ply hat, I'll probably only wear that while I'm in while I'm in Bendigo, of all places. Nerdy says our humidity is at 72, but we have freezing drizzle coming in. Oh gosh. Allegra says it's very comfortable, 60%, 62%. Yeah, it's a lovely day here today. It's a bit overcast. The temperature's dropped a little. But yeah, it's still 62%. Here we go. Kathleen says, plus lighter garments are more forgiving and drape for our less than model shape figures. Yes, totally. Totally. I love drape. So much. Allegra says, love having a weather station. Natasha, you totally need to try lace. I happen to know of someone who's got a mystery lace club starting, so maybe you could join up that would give you everything to start with. I'd call today a gorgeous weather day. So would I totally would. We totally need to move to the UK. Overcast, chances of rain. Nerdy Stitcher is making evilly good food again. Makes me hungry every time. Oh, we have to give away this yarn, you guys. So before everyone starts talking about their weather, what is your perfect weather day? So for you to get this beautiful skein of Whirlpool lace weight yarn, over here on the camera, Chantel, beautiful lace weight yarn. It's 600 meters to 100 grams, merino and silk. What is your idea of the perfect weather? Do you like steaming hot weather or dry hot weather, or do you like cold and damp? I like cold and damp. So you tell me what you like as your favorite weather, and I'll just keep knitting stitches here on this hat that's just getting finished. I'm just totally getting down to the end. I should probably check how long I'm supposed to be doing these decreases for, right? Until there are 4 stitches between the markers. 2, 4. Oh, whoops. Lucky I checked. I would have kept going. On your needles, last 3 rows, knit until there are 2 stitches before. That's weird. Anyway, sorry. Blizzards. Who likes... someone wrote blizzard. Hang on. I've got to scroll up. It disappeared off my screen. There we go. People are writing blizzards. I've actually never been in a blizzard. I don't know what it feels like. Loving the cooler... Nerdy says, I tried lace weight once and rage quit. I need to try again. I totally would say when it comes to lace... lifelines, stitch markers. When you're starting, you want lifelines and stitch markers, and don't use a fuzzy lace. Use a nice clean slinky lace, like something with a bit of silk in it or something, because it'll give you less halo, which means that when you do need to pull it out, you can pull it out a lot easier for your first go. They're my lace tips. I should do a whole video on lace tips, right? Hang on, I've got to read. I'm missing people writing blizzards. 10 degrees cooler today than yesterday. 65 with the sun, light clouds and a breeze. That actually sounds nice. Kathleen says it rained so much last night. Our rain gauge overflowed. No idea how much we got. Oh my gosh. We've got a cyclone coming in off the Coral Sea, so that should be fun to change our weather. The dog couldn't care less. I like that. I like stormy days, but dogs freak me out. I like storms. I love storms. I love big, like lightning storms, like proper electrical storms. Marion loves every day. I like that, Marion. That's beautiful. Where are we? Okay, so I'm going to give this away in 1 minute. So you've got time, because like I just want to finish my row here. And then I'll put this down and then I'll give away the yarn. So you've got 1 minute to get the rest of your perfect days in. There we go. I'm at the end of that round. And there's the hat. Secret squirrels, you guys. Secret squirrels. We're getting there. See, look at that. It's got little X-wings and stormtroopers and all, and lightsabers. Shh, shh. Don't tell anybody. Electrical storms are wonderful. Okay, let's have a squiz here. This pretty yarn that has been hanging out with me. Oops, go back. Don't disappear. Come back here. Thank you. Every day is perfect. Any day with some knitting or crochet. I don't like 90F. I totally get that. Today's totally perfect, slightly cool, nice breeze, more like autumn than midsummer. Yeah, see, I'm the same. I really like winter in Queensland. I like winter Queensland. But I have to say, I do really love going to Bendigo in the middle of winter, where as long as your body's warm and your face gets that really cold, like proper cold. I get that up here. My 38-year-old son would kill me for that hat. You should totally make him one. It's like, yeah, you should totally do it. Okay, winner, chicken dinner. Winner of this yarn is going to be, I'm just scrolling back to see what we've got here. And our winner is going to be, scroll. There's so many of you answered this question. I think the winner of this particular one is going to be, I'm just trying to have too many of you. Marion is the winner. Marion DeHannon for her loving every day. Here you go. Marion is winning Whirlpool. Marion DeHannon. I'm writing that down. There we go. So we've given away lots of pretties today. After crashing last week before we gave away the yak, it was really important that I got that in today. I really was like, it was very stressful. So I'm going to, I want to finish my hat, but I can't. Well, I just stabbed it in I just stabbed a stormtrooper, so I'm okay with that. So I want to get my hat done today, but I'm not going to. I've got some other bits and pieces to work on. I need to get the Lace Club advertising completely rolling on Ravelry. There's still a little bit more to do there. And bits and pieces, bits and bobs, general work, stuff that has to happen. I'll be taking this with me tonight to Caffeinated Crafters. Excuse me, frog in the throat. yeah, so I'm going to take it with me to Caffeinated Crafters to finish off. I've got a few ends to even... Oh, I was going to show you guys the inside, wasn't I? Hang on. Just let me just pull these needles through so I don't accidentally pull any stitches off. But that's how it's looking on the inside at the moment. So a bit of stranded. I've got a few little ends to weave in over here. Nothing too dramatic, which is nice. Not like the sword ad hat that I did with like 11 million ends. That was very, very upsetting. I was watching there's a crafty class. I can't remember who teaches it, but there's a crafty class on stranded knitting. And they actually talk about how if you're a bit nervous about your floats being too long, if you start your project inside out, like don't flip it halfway through. You can flip it after you've done your ribbing and flip it inside out, and then it actually automatically makes your strands just that little bit longer. And so when you flip it the right way in, there's just that little bit more give, because there's, circumferentially more circumference on the outside than there is on the inside. So that was a big word. Is that even a word? I don't even know if that's a word. Anyway, so that was a cool trick, but I'd already started this before I heard about that trick. So next time I think I'll try it that way. Allegra says, yep, I knit all my color work for Sock Madness last year inside out. Yeah, apparently, like, I haven't tried it, but it seems like it would make a lot of sense and just give you that little bit more space, because we don't want big, long, crazy floats, but we don't want them tight, changing the shaping either. So I was a little bit nervous that this was going to be like too straight, but I'm actually quite happy with how the shape of it's starting to come out. It does need a wash. I was stretching it out to have a look at it, so it needs a little wash to bring it all back in, especially the ribbing. But yes, I'm very excited. So you guys, tomorrow I will pop out some warnings and announcements of what time we will go live. Probably it might even be Saturday morning, which make it Friday night for some of you USians or people from the other side of the globe, which would technically still be Friday for you, but then not Friday for me, which would make it not Fiberific Friday. Is that right? I don't know how to work it, but I'll have a think about it over today and put out tomorrow and give you heaps and heaps of warnings. So if you want to join us in the live chat to show off your goodies, you totally can. So you guys have a fantastic day, and I will catch you all next week. I am so happy the stream worked all the way through with good quality internet. It's like redeemed itself. So I'm very, 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 very happy right now. I'm going to go and get some jobs done, and I will catch you all next week. Go knit something. I'll see you later. Bye.